What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yeah.
So, Nick, we got 2 title fights on UFC 268, and both of them are rematches.
Yep.
And both of them, there's actually a little bit of bad blood. You know, Weili Zhang doesn't really care for Rose. Rose made some comments about Weili. The first fight, there was left us with more questions than answers. You know, did Rose clip Weili, or is she just that far superior? We're going to get the answer to all of those questions come Saturday night.
Yeah, we are. And I'm really excited. You know, some people just can't get it right with Trevor Whitman's fighters.
Yeah, it's weird.
They seem like the nicest bunch. Like Justin Gaethje's always pretty friendly. Rose Namajunas is always pretty friendly with her opponents, and Kamaru Usman's obviously a class act all the time. So I don't know why, but something doesn't mesh with Trevor Whitman's fighters versus everybody else. But hey, that camp is doing some seriously good things. Trevor Whitman's going to have his hands full on Saturday night, but Rose Namajunas, man, that last fight, I'm not going to say she clipped her. I think that was a legitimate knockout that she sparked her, and it was all well timed and placed. You know,
Beautiful.
she was bouncing around as if she had no plans on throwing a kick. Go back and watch it. She was bouncing around like she wanted to maybe start throwing some jabs and maybe jump in with the jab and start throwing some twos just so she could get Weili's hands up. And then she does this beautiful, not a switch kick, not a power kick. She steps in and sends a high front kick. It's beautiful. It was a real thing of beauty. And I just think that Weili Zhang got caught getting knocked out by the right technique. So if Weili's not able to, you know, manage her emotions, which seems to be a little bit of an issue for her, I think Rose is going to run away with this thing. But if we get that old Terminator style, that zombie version of Weili Zhang, then we could see an epic fight on our hands.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for that. And, you know, it's like the Rose Joanna. If history is going to give us any indication, you know, she was able to knock out Joanna, and then, you know, was much closer after that. So I do think that Weili Zhang is prepared better for this fight, and I think that she's going to not get knocked out in the first round. I think this is going to be a very tough fight. The red flag for me are the excuses. You know, I said the same thing when Deontay Wilder was fighting Tyson Fury for the 3rd time.
Right.
After that second fight, Deontay Wilder blamed everyone under the sun besides himself.
Right.
Now, Zhang Weili has not risen to the level of saying that her coaches spiked her water with muscle relaxer, or that her hair was too long and that's why now she's cut it all off, or anything ridiculous like that. But she said, I wasn't expecting the crowd to boo me. I wasn't, you know, in my home gym, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And I think all in all, when you're making excuses like that, you're not focusing on the things that lost you the fight to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's a major red flag for me. I'm really perplexed a bit by the odds here. The odds have this as a pick'em. It's basically even money. As far as even money goes, I mean, you saw what happened the first time. Didn't even last a minute.
Right.
How could you pick against Rose again? And I don't think that I'm going to. I have been wrong picking against Rose Namajunas before. I thought Zhang Weili was going to win the first fight, and she is in Arizona right now training with Team Cejudo and you know, his team, and she's apparently working on her wrestling and her grappling. But if she does find herself on the ground with Namajunas, she's going to find out that Rose is no slouch on the ground. Rose has won a lot of her fights by submission. So when I look at ways to win, I think Zhang's way to win, only way to win really, is just to bully Rose and try to make this a dogfight, because I believe she is physically stronger and physically bigger. But Rose is a sniper, man. She is such a good technician. And so I think technique is going to overplay the power and the strength of Zhang Weili, and I think we're going to see Rose win again. But it's not going to be a first-round knockout. It's going to be a decision.
Okay. Yeah, well, you know, looks can be deceiving. And a lot of people chalk Rose up as just being a technical fighter that, you know, throws good shots. Rose has shown us that she is actually the most powerful striker in the strawweight division. She takes everybody out. Weili looks like the kind of girl that she looks like a tank. She hits like a tank, but you know, they fought each other. One of them knocked the other one out, and the other one didn't get touched. So I feel like Rose's power is the most, maybe the most unassuming thing in all of mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
You know, nobody really credits Rose with being a power striker, But she is absolutely that, as well as she's other things. She's very technical. She's very quick and light on her feet, but she's a powerhouse, and she just doesn't look it. Weili looks it. Weili looks like she probably had to start her weight cut 10 weeks ago just so she could make the weight, right? Rose looks like she's, light and limber and eases into the 115 division.
Yeah.
And, I've got a news flash for Weili. The crowd's going to boo you again because
even more so this time.
Everybody loves Rose. The crowd, you're now training in Arizona, not your home gym. So you can't use those two as excuses. You got to turn the crowd off or look at their boos as just either way, it doesn't matter. They're just making noises with their mouth. You can't, put your performance on that whatsoever. Right. And don't worry about where the gym is. Some people have to deal with some crazy things. Dan Hooker, for example, had to do some pretty crazy things just to get some fights and be able to stay eligible in literally changing countries. So don't let all that stuff get to you. Try to, eat this pressure and deal with all of it like a champion. And go out there and make this a dogfight. Make it ugly because Rose is technically better at striking, and I think that she's very evasive. I think the only way we're going to see Weili win this fight is by accumulating rounds. I think we're going to see her try to go for takedowns. There's going to be some cool grappling exchanges take place because Rose knows what she's doing down there. I don't really know if I see either one of them submitting one another, but I think we're going to see a decision, just like you said. I'm leaning towards Rose, but if Weili's able to deal with all that stuff and the red flags that we've kind of identified don't exist on Saturday night, then I could see her just doing what it takes to get 3 rounds and then kind of coasting her way to a victory.
Yeah, I think Weili's biggest place that she can have some success in this fight is in the tie clinch against the cage, because I think she will. When I say more powerful, I don't mean like her strikes are more powerful. Obviously, as you said, Rose is a regular Deontay Wilder. We just didn't know it because she's so unassuming looking. She just happens to be more technically sound than Deontay Wilder, but has a ton of power all the same. I think that Weili is going to have success in this fight if she can get it into a close tie clinch range against the cage, work short elbows, wear on Rose with some collar ties, maybe land some body knees or even a couple knees to the head if she can, to sort of zap the gas tank of Rose. But if this fight happens at a kickboxing range, we're going to see more of the same, because the way Rose delivered that kick shows you who the faster, more precise striker is, and it's Namajunas by a reasonable margin. So I think Weili has to close the distance. This fight has to happen in a phone booth for Zhang to have a chance here. And I do think she does have a chance, but I'm going with Thug Rose.
Yeah, I think if Weili can't get a win here, we might see her kind of do a downward spiral, maybe look for even more coaching. She's with Henry Cejudo now and the guys over in Arizona, and that's obviously a great gym. They've got a formula for success. They've got the Triple C, and they've got Patricio Pitbull, so they know what it's like to deal with championship caliber fighters. Weili hopefully can take a lot from them, utilize some of that wrestling and that MMA grappling that they use over there so well. And close the distance on Rose. And, it's not going to earn her any fans, but if her goal is to earn a title, then she's going to have to utilize that style of fighting. I think she's capable of doing it. I think Rose, though, is very hard to get a hold of and then keep a hold of. The only way we see Rose get beat is getting slammed on her head, and that's kind of like I'm not going to call it a fluke, because there's a lot of ways to win and a lot of ways to lose in this game, but that was really the only way. We haven't seen anybody just straight up out fight Rose Namajunas in quite some time. So I'm leaning towards Rose. I'm leaning towards a decision, but I think that if Weili wins, it's going to be a slightly boring fight. It's going to not really gain her any fans, but like I said, if her goal is to win the belt and not win fans, then she's got to do what she's got to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when you talk about if she loses again, she could start to unravel.
Maybe move up in weight class or something.
You took the words right out of my mouth. If she is a big gal, and I believe you're right. She probably 2.5-3 months ago started this weight cut down to 115.
Right.
The optics test tells you that she is a far larger person than Rose Namajunas. I mean, Rose, when you look at her and you say, okay, she fights at 115, she seems to me like she could be an atom weight, almost 105. She doesn't look to me, even outside of training camp, that she weighs much more than 115, whereas Zhang probably lives somewhere in the 140 range, if I'm guessing. So I think the best bet for her, and what we've seen a lot of times when people are sucking too much weight, their chins suffer greatly, and we saw her get clipped on the chin, and she was out like a light. So I think if Zhang Weili loses this fight again, the only path forward is to 125, but good luck there because the bullet's at the top of that division.
Right, and sometimes a clean slate's exactly what a number one contender or a former champion needs. Weili moves up to 125 and beats somebody like a Jennifer Maia or somebody like that. She could wind up in a title fight, and obviously Valentina Shevchenko is a way tougher fight than Rose Namajunas. But if you're looking for title shots, if you're looking for a fresh coat of paint, as a lot of people like to say, then maybe that's what we see her do if she doesn't get her hand raised on Saturday night. Because I don't really know what else is next for her at 115. And I think she'll be looking for answers and ways out of that division because there's a boogeyman named Rose Namajunas that has the belt. And with her at the top of the division, you're not getting another title shot if you lose to her twice in a row.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. So Nick and I both think Thug Rose is going to get it done again. Going to be a little tougher fight this time, but let us know your predictions in the comments. We always enjoy chatting with you guys. There is one of the best things about this channel. And guys, if you listen to audio podcasts, the Barnhill Brothers are also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. So check us out there as well. We always appreciate that. Have a great day.
One last thing, because he forgot to mention it. If you liked the video and you want to join us for a live, hit the bell notifications. It'll let you know when we go live. Every time we drop a video, we do a premiere. You can come hang out with us. We literally are in there chatting with whoever comes and joins us. It's always a good time. So let's see you guys in there.
That's right. All the videos premiere live, guys. So Nick and I are both there chatting away. Have a great day.